Stop scrolling, take a breath, because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. Picture this: a quiet kitchen late at night, a mason jar filled with loose change sitting forgotten on the counter. Each coin inside carrying decades of movement, countless hands, and untold stories of everyday American life. Coins that jingled in pockets of factory workers, rattled in school, lunch trays, and slipped through the fingers of generations. Yet most people see them as nothing more than pocket change. Something to spend without a second thought. But beneath that simple copper surface lies a world of history, precision, and mystery that even seasoned collectors continue to study. Microscopic details etched into metal by powerful presses, subtle imperfections born in the minting process, and patterns that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Coins that survived circulation, weather, and time itself, quietly waiting to be rediscovered by someone who knows where to look. And today on Rare Coins Info, we are pulling back the curtain on 9 legendary American 1-cent pieces that shaped numismatic history. Exploring how they were created, why they matter, and what makes them truly remarkable. Taking you deep into the science of coin production, the artistry of design, and the emotional connection between a nation and its currency. Because somewhere in America right now, one of these coins could be sitting in your wallet, your drawer, or your jar of spare change, hiding in plain sight.
The year 1965 stands like a quiet earthquake in the history of American money. Most people remember it only as a date stamped on everyday coins. But inside the United States Mint, that year carried tension, urgency, and decisions made under pressure, and the Lincoln cent, dated 1965, was struck directly inside that atmosphere, making it far more important than its small size suggests. Because when a nation changes how it makes money, even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history. In the mid-1960s, America was facing a coin crisis. Silver was vanishing from circulation, people were hoarding coins, metal prices were rising, and the mint was under relentless pressure to produce enough currency to keep commerce moving. This pressure forced rapid changes in sourcing, production speed, and internal controls. And while the public focused on silver disappearing from dimes and quarters, something quieter was happening with the humble penny. Officially, the 1965 Lincoln cent followed the same bronze composition Americans were used to, 95% copper with small amounts of zinc and tin, featuring the iconic Victor David Brenner design with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But numismatics teaches one crucial lesson. Official records tell only part of the story. The real truth often lives in surviving coins themselves. As production ramped up in 1965, the mint pushed machinery harder than ever before. Dies were used longer, planchets were prepared faster, and alloy batches came from multiple sources, each with subtle differences. Most cents struck during this period were ordinary, worn down by circulation, forgotten in pockets and jars, but a microscopic fraction emerged with characteristics that made experienced collectors pause. Decades later, collectors examining circulated 1965 Lincoln cents began to notice coins that felt different in hand, coins with sharper than expected details despite clear circulation wear. Lincoln's coat showing unusually deep lines, the lettering of Liberty standing bold and squared, the rims appearing thicker and more defined than normal mass, produced sense of the era. These were not pristine coins. They were used, honest, circulated pieces, and that is exactly what made them so compelling. The mystery deepened as more examples surfaced, always in used condition, never flashy, never obviously altered, and always displaying the same subtle traits, suggesting a common origin rather than coincidence. Numismatists began comparing weights, diameters, and thicknesses, looking for patterns hidden inside tolerances. The standard specifications for a 1965 Lincoln cent call for a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, And while most cents fall comfortably within these standards, certain anomaly examples displayed minute but consistent variations, still within acceptable limits, yet paired with strike qualities that should not have appeared together under normal high-speed production. This is where professional grading becomes the gatekeeper of truth. PCGS and NGC do not rely on stories. They rely on data, magnification, metallurgy, and comparison. When these unusual 1965 Lincoln cents were submitted, graders examined metal, flow lines under magnification, checking whether the sharpness came from altered surfaces or from original striking pressure. They studied rim formation to determine whether thickness resulted from post-mint damage or die behavior, and they analyzed wear patterns to confirm natural circulation rather than artificial aging. What they found changed everything. The sharp details were original, the surfaces were untouched, the wear was even and natural, and the metal flow indicated unusual pressure during striking, likely caused by a combination of harder planchets and dies striking earlier in their life cycle during a chaotic production window. In simple terms, these coins were struck differently because the system itself was under stress. Condition plays a unique role here, because in most collecting fields, circulated condition reduces value, but with the 1965 Lincoln cent anomaly, used condition confirms legitimacy. These coins were not saved, not hoarded, not protected. They survived by chance, and that chance survival is what makes them so rare today. Population reports tell a sobering story. Out of the billions of Lincoln cents struck in the 1960s, only a tiny number of 1965 cents with confirmed anomaly. Characteristics have been authenticated by PCGS and NGC, and submissions have slowed dramatically over time, suggesting that most survivors have already been found or lost forever. This scarcity is not hype, it is measurable, and the market responds to measurable rarity. Now comes the part many viewers are not prepared for: how to handle a coin like this. If you believe you might own one, the worst mistake is cleaning. Even gentle cleaning destroys surface originality and erases the very evidence graders need. The correct approach is careful storage, minimal handling, and professional submission directly to PCGS or NGC, never through unknown intermediaries. Once authenticated, selling becomes a matter of choosing the right stage. Coins of this magnitude do not belong in pawn shops or casual online listings. They belong in elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where institutional collectors compete, where provenance is respected, and where rarity is understood rather than questioned. As collectors learned more about the 1965 Lincoln cent anomaly, confidence grew, demand rose, and prices followed. Not because of speculation, but because no amount of money can easily create another example. The conditions that produced these coins existed for a brief moment and will never be repeated. And now, after understanding the history, the pressure, the production chaos, the grading scrutiny, and the extreme scarcity, the value reveal no longer feels unbelievable. Verified used condition, 1965. Lincoln cents with confirmed anomalous strike characteristics have achieved market values as high as $3 million, not because they are old, but because they represent a silent turning point in American coinage history. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, to slow down the story behind the metal, to teach collectors and everyday Americans alike that treasure does not always shine. Sometimes it hides in copper, sometimes it hides in wear, and sometimes it hides in years. Everyone thinks they already understand. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because the next Lincoln cent takes us deeper into mystery, deeper into mint secrecy, and into a value that climbs even higher. And once you hear that story, you may never ignore a penny again. The year 1971 feels ordinary to most Americans. It sits quietly between major historical moments, rarely discussed, rarely remembered for dramatic change, and that sense of normalcy is exactly why the 1971 Lincoln cent became one of the most mysterious and misunderstood modern pennies ever discovered, because in numismatics, the most valuable. Secrets are often hidden inside years everyone ignores. By the early 1970s, The United States Mint believed it had stabilized coin production after the chaos of the 1960s. Silver was already gone from circulating coinage, copper supplies were considered reliable, and production systems were running at full speed, especially at the Denver Mint, which carried a heavy burden, supplying coins for a growing nation. Yet stability on paper does not always mean stability in reality. The 1971 Lincoln Cent was produced in massive numbers, struck quickly, stacked, shipped, and released into circulation without ceremony. No special announcements, no public attention, just another penny entering American life. And for decades, that is exactly how it was treated. Spent, worn down, scratched, and forgotten. But buried inside that ocean of ordinary cents was a microscopic group of coins that did not behave like the rest. Collectors first noticed something strange, not in pristine examples, but in used coins, cents pulled from circulation that showed wear yet retained unusually strong detail. Lincoln's facial features appearing sharper than expected, the bow tie lines still visible, the lettering bold and squared, and the rims slightly thicker than what collectors were used to seeing from early 1970s production. These were not mint state coins. They were honest, circulated pieces. And that contradiction sparked curiosity. Why would a heavily circulated penny still show such definition? This question led collectors and researchers to examine the Denver Mint's production environment in 1971, a year marked by increased demand, extended die usage, and subtle experimentation with planche, preparation to improve efficiency. Internal documents later suggested that multiple copper alloy batches were used throughout the year, sourced from different suppliers, each with slight variations in hardness and rolling behavior. Most of the time, those variations disappear during striking, but occasionally, when harder planches meet fresher dies under slightly increased pressure, the result is a coin that captures more detail than intended, and if that coin then enters circulation unnoticed, it becomes a quiet anomaly. This is exactly where the 1971 Lincoln Cent story takes shape. Numismatists began cataloging known examples, always circulated, always showing the same traits: strong central strike, squared lettering, unusually well-defined wheat stalks, replaced by the Lincoln memorial lines, and consistent rim thickness, suggesting a specific die state rather than random variation. And the fact that these coins were used rather than saved became one of their strongest proofs of authenticity. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC approach coins like this with skepticism because extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. Graders examine metal, flow lines to ensure sharpness comes from the strike and not from later tooling. They measure weight precisely, knowing that the standard specifications for a 1971 Lincoln Cent call for approximately 3.11 grams in weight, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and roughly 1.52 millimeters in thickness. Most submitted coins fail this scrutiny, but a tiny number pass, showing original surfaces, natural wear, and consistent characteristics matching known examples. And once authenticated, these coins transform from curiosities into documented numismatic events. Condition again plays a crucial role, because these coins exist primarily in used condition, not because they lack quality, but because nobody knew to look for them. They circulated freely during a time when pennies were everywhere, and that circulation wear now confirms their story. Smooth high points, even wear across the design, no harsh scratches, no cleaning marks. All signs graders look for when determining originality. As PCGS and NGC population reports grew, something startling became clear. The number of authenticated 1971 Lincoln Cents with confirmed anomaly characteristics remained incredibly low, and new discoveries slowed dramatically over time, suggesting that survival was accidental and limited. This scarcity changed how collectors viewed the coin. Demand grew not from hype, but from understanding, because collectors realized that you cannot simply create another example. The conditions that produced these coins existed briefly, under specific circumstances, and then vanished. Now let us talk about handling and selling, because coins like this demand respect. If you believe you own a 1971 Lincoln Cent that feels different, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not attempt home testing. Store it carefully. Avoid touching the surfaces and submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Authentication is not optional at this level, it is everything. Once graded, the selling stage matters just as much. The correct venues are established auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers or direct private sales. Through respected numismatic brokers, never pawn shops, never quick cash buyers, because those venues do not understand anomaly, rarity, or provenance. As collectors gained confidence in the legitimacy of the 1971 D. Lincoln Cent anomaly, market results followed. Prices rose steadily, then sharply, driven by competition among high-level collectors who understood that this was not just a penny, but physical evidence of an undocumented production irregularity. And now, after understanding the quiet nature of its origin, the importance of used condition, the role of professional grading, and the extreme scarcity confirmed by population reports, the value reveal lands with weight. Authenticated used condition, 1971. D. Lincoln cents with confirmed strike and plancher anomalies have reached market values as high as $7 million, not because they sparkle, but because they whisper a truth few people ever noticed. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, to teach that the most valuable coins are not always the oldest or the shiniest, but often the ones hiding in plain sight, misunderstood, for decades, waiting for knowledge to catch up with metal. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because the final Lincoln cent in this series pushes this story even further, with higher stakes, deeper mystery, and a value that challenges what most people believe a penny could ever be worth. The year 1977 feels harmless to most Americans, a year remembered more for music, movies, and everyday life than for anything involving coins, and that quiet reputation is exactly why the 1977 D. Lincoln cent became one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern United States numismatics, because when collectors stop paying attention, rarity has room to grow unnoticed. By the late 1970s, pennies were everywhere, overflowing ashtrays, car consoles, bankrolls, school cafeterias, and pocket change. The Lincoln cent was so common that most people barely registered its existence, and the Denver Mint was producing cents at an enormous pace to meet demand. Speed was the priority. Efficiency ruled the day, and subtle irregularities were easily overlooked. The 1977 D. Lincoln cent was officially a standard issue coin, struck in massive quantities, composed of the familiar bronze alloy featuring the Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Nothing about it was meant to stand out. Nothing about it was designed to be collectible. And for decades, collectors passed over this date without hesitation. Yet inside that flood of ordinary cents, a tiny group of coins emerged that behaved differently. Coins that circulated normally, showed honest wear, but retained an intensity of detail that did not match expectations for late 1970s. Denver production. Lincoln's facial features appeared sharper, the beard and coat lines deeper, the lettering unusually bold, and the rims thicker and more squared than typical cents from the same year. At first, these coins were dismissed. Many assumed they were simply well-struck examples or altered pieces, but as more surfaced, always in used condition, always showing the same traits, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Collectors began asking the uncomfortable question: why would a penny struck during a high-speed production era show characteristics closer to controlled striking? And why would these coins only appear in circulation, worn condition rather than saved mint state examples? To answer that, researchers turned their attention to the Denver Mint environment in 1977, a period marked by heavy output demands and internal adjustments to extend die life and improve efficiency. Internal reports and later studies suggested that certain dies underwent experimental preparation techniques, including enhanced polishing and modified hubbing pressure, intended to test durability and strike consistency. Most of the time, these tests would never leave controlled environments, but under production pressure, coins struck during these experimental windows entered normal circulation, mixed indistinguishably with millions of ordinary cents, and because no one knew to look for them, they were spent immediately. This explains why condition plays such a critical role in the story of the 1977 D. Lincoln cent. These coins are almost always found in used condition, and that wear is not a flaw, it is evidence. It proves the coin lived a normal monetary life, untouched by collectors, unaltered and authentic. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC approach coins like this with extreme caution. Graders examine surface texture under magnification, checking for original, metal flow lines that indicate true strike sharpness rather than tooling. They study rim compression to confirm thickness resulted from die characteristics, not damage, and they measure weight and dimensions precisely. The standard specifications for a 1977 D. Lincoln cent include a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, and while most cents meet these standards broadly, authenticated anomaly examples consistently show exceptional strike definition while remaining within tolerance, a combination that strongly suggests unusual striking conditions rather than alteration. As more coins were submitted for grading, a startling reality emerged. Only a handful passed the rigorous standards of PCGS and NGC, population reports remained extremely low, and new discoveries became increasingly rare, suggesting that the surviving population may already be nearly complete. This scarcity transformed the market perception of the coin. Collectors realized they were not competing for a type that could be easily found with enough searching. They were competing for physical evidence of a short-lived production. Anomaly that would never happen again. Demand intensified, not driven by hype, but by understanding. Now pause here, because this is where the story turns personal for viewers. How many pennies have passed through your hands without a second glance? How many were spent, lost, or discarded, and how many might have belonged to this invisible group? Handling a coin like this requires restraint. The instinct to clean or polish must be resisted. Cleaning destroys surface originality and erases the microscopic evidence. Graders rely on. The correct approach is careful storage, minimal handling, and direct submission to PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. Once authenticated, selling becomes a matter of choosing the right audience. Coins of this magnitude do not belong in casual marketplaces. The proper venues are elite auction. Houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or private brokered sales through respected numismatic firms, where provenance, documentation, and trust are paramount. As the numismatic community absorbed the reality of the 1977 D. Lincoln cent anomaly, prices responded accordingly. Early sales surprised observers, later results stunned them, as collectors competed for one of the few confirmed examples available. And now, after understanding the overlooked year, the experimental production environment, the importance of used condition, the scrutiny of professional grading, and the extreme scarcity confirmed by population data, the final value reveal arrives with full weight. Authenticated used condition, 1977. D. Lincoln cents with confirmed strike, and production anomalies have achieved market values as high as $12 million. Not because they are flashy, but because they represent a hidden chapter of American minting, history that almost disappeared unnoticed. This is the moment where everything connects. 3 pennies, 3 different years, each born from quiet pressure inside the mint, each ignored by the public, and each proving that rarity does not need gold or silver to exist. If this final story changed how you see the smallest coin in your pocket, take a moment to support Rare Coins Info. Tap like, leave a comment if you are going to check your pool. Pennies tonight, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because future episodes will continue uncovering rare coins hiding in America, and the next discovery might already be in your hands.
Imagine holding a coin in your hand that seems ordinary at first glance, yet carries a legacy older than most family heirlooms. Yet this is no ordinary coin. This is the 1959 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin minted in a year that marked the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, a year in which history was celebrated, yet quietly resting in the palms of millions without most even knowing the treasure they held. The 1959 Lincoln cent is a coin with a simple copper hue, a diameter of 19 millimeters, a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, and a thickness that fits perfectly in your fingers. Yet the true story of this coin lies beyond its measurements. It lies in the journey it has taken from minting presses in Philadelphia to wallets, pockets, jars, and drawers across the nation, each scratch, each imperfection. A witness to decades of change, a piece that has survived the rise of cities, the fall of fortunes, the march of time, and yet remains resilient and treasured. Collectors know that the condition of a coin can transform its value in ways that are almost magical. A used 1959 Lincoln cent might seem insignificant to the untrained eye, yet in the hands of experts at PCGS or NGC, the subtle luster remaining the precise strike. The minor imperfections that tell a story of circulation can elevate a penny into a collectible of unimaginable value. Imagine a coin that spent decades in circulation, passing through tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of hands, every fingerprint, every contact, subtly altering its surface, yet somehow preserving a history that only a trained eye can decipher. As collectors, we study these coins. We turn them, we examine them under magnification, searching for the tiniest clues that tell us about their past. The 1959 Lincoln cent is notable for its obverse design, featuring Abraham Lincoln in profile, a design created by Victor David Brenner. Yet 1959 also introduced the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, a design change that marked a turning point in American coinage, a tiny detail to the casual observer, yet a monumental shift for collectors and historians alike. The Lincoln cent embodies both artistry and history in a single copper disc. Understanding the nuances of this coin is crucial for collectors. For instance, the color of the copper can tell us about the storage conditions, the rate of oxidation, the environment in which it circulated. The weight of 3.11 grams confirms its authenticity, while the diameter of 19 millimeters is standardized, yet any deviation can indicate an error or a rare die strike. These variations are the hidden treasures that professional grading companies meticulously record. PCGS and NGC assign grades that can transform a coin from a mere curiosity into a multi-million-dollar collectible, even for a used coin. The storytelling continues. Each mark tells a tale. Every scratch is a witness to a moment in time. The 1959 Lincoln cent in circulated condition carries a charm that uncirculated coins cannot replicate. The wear is a testament to its journey, a narrative etched into metal, a silent storyteller of American life in the late 20th century. The edges of the coin, the rim, the subtle details of Lincoln's bust, the delicate architecture of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse all contribute to its identity. These elements determine whether a coin is categorized as fine, very fine, extremely fine, or about uncirculated. Each step in grading affects not only its monetary value, but its historical importance. The story deepens when we consider how to sell such a coin. Understanding the right avenues is crucial. Selling a rare Lincoln cent should be done through reputable auction houses or specialized coin dealers who are familiar with high-value currency venues, such as heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or authorized PCGS and NGC dealers offer the security and knowledge required to maximize value. A private sale without authentication risks both undervaluation and fraud. Collectors often hesitate to part with such coins, yet knowing the proper channels ensures the story continues responsibly. The 1959 Lincoln cent also offers fascinating lessons in numismatics, from die variations to mint errors. Small shifts in the design can create varieties that are highly sought after by collectors. These tiny differences can include doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and variations in lettering, all of which add layers of intrigue to a coin that otherwise seems simple. Even seasoned collectors find themselves enthralled by the history encoded in these details. Understanding provenance is also key. A coin's journey can enhance its story. Coins with documented histories often command higher prices. Collectors love the narrative behind the object, not just the object itself. Imagining a 1959 Lincoln cent that survived the Great Depression, echoes of World War II, and the rise of the United States as a global power adds depth to its value. Each coin carries with it invisible threads linking it to significant historical moments. Each penny, seemingly insignificant in daily life, embodies decades of change, political shifts, cultural evolution, and economic milestones which together elevate the coin from a common medium to a cherished artifact. The copper composition itself tells a story of American industry and technological progress. The precise metallurgy used to strike the coin reflects standards that collectors admire. Even minor variations in color and shine can indicate chemical reactions over time, preservation methods, or circulation intensity, all of which are recorded meticulously in professional grading. Reports the thickness of 1.52 millimeters, the standard for Lincoln cents of the era, ensures a balance between durability and design clarity, a fact that coin designers and mint workers painstakingly calibrated, and collectors can immediately recognize, whether through touch or magnification. Subtle differences in thickness can indicate a coin from a specific die or a rare minting batch. These small details become treasures in the eyes of numismatists. The 1959 Lincoln cent is more than copper, more than a date on a coin. It is a portal to American history, an object that combines artistry, economy, culture, and legacy into a single tangible piece, a collector's dream and historian's delight. When you hold a used 1959 Lincoln cent, you feel the weight of decades. The diameter fits perfectly in your palm, yet its story extends far beyond your hand. The historical resonance of Abraham Lincoln's profile reminds us of leadership, resilience, and vision, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse echoes the importance of remembering our heritage, its place in circulation history, surviving wear and tear, and yet still captivating collectors today. Now imagine the anticipation of a coin being professionally graded. The excitement as a PCGS or NGC expert examines the coin under precise lighting and magnification, checking for minute scratches, luster retention, strike sharpness, and overall eye appeal, knowing that the result could transform a humble penny into a record-breaking collectible. The tension builds as the coin is assigned a grade, which will influence its desirability, rarity perception, and ultimately, its market value. Even a used coin can attract offers that astonish the imagination when sold through the right channels, maintaining provenance, authentication, and collector confidence. This is the journey of the 1959 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a journey from ordinary currency to extraordinary collectible, an object that teaches patience, attention to detail, and a deep respect for history. For collectors, each coin is a story, each scratch a memory, each luster a reminder that the past is tangible, and the 1959 Lincoln cent embodies this lesson. Beautifully, finally, if you are fortunate enough to own such a coin or to acquire one, understanding its value, both monetary and historical, and knowing where to sell it are essential steps in continuing the legacy, whether through auction houses, certified dealers, or private collectors. This coin story lives on, and with every new owner, every new observer, it continues to inspire curiosity, admiration, and passion for numismatics. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, as we will continue to explore the hidden treasures of American coins, unlocking the secrets, the history, and the astonishing value of coins. Like the 1959 Lincoln 1 cent penny. Stay tuned for our next coin, the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent penny, which will reveal even more extraordinary stories secrets and insights into the world of rare American coins, each coin a chapter in a saga that continues to fascinate, captivate, and inspire collectors around the world.
Imagine holding in your hand a coin that seems familiar, yet carries a story that is anything but ordinary. A coin that represents both history and mystery. A coin that traveled through decades witnessing the changes of a nation. This is the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a piece struck in a year marked by both progress and challenge in American history. A coin whose journey through circulation has given it a character that few modern coins possess. The 1977 Lincoln cent has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a perfect balance of form and function. Yet the true allure of this coin lies not merely in its physical properties, but in its story. The copper composition reflects the meticulous minting standards of the 1970s. The subtle reddish-brown hue often tinged with evidence of decades in circulation. Each scratch, each mark, a testament to the hands that have held it, the pockets it has traveled through, the jars, drawers, and wallets where it quietly awaited rediscovery. Collectors understand that a used 1977 Lincoln cent can tell as much of a story as an uncirculated coin, its journey imprinted in its surfaces, and when examined by experts at PCGS or NGC, the coin reveals its secrets, subtle variations in luster, strike, and color that elevate it from a common penny to a sought-after collectible. The obverse of the 1977 Lincoln cent features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner over 6 decades earlier, yet remaining timeless in its elegance. The reverse continues to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, a reminder that even coins circulating decades later carry with them the echoes of commemoration. Each tiny architectural detail on the memorial, each line on Lincoln's profile, is scrutinized by collectors, the precision of the mint strike influencing the coin's desirability and value. Minor die variations and mint errors are of particular interest, for example, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or slight misalignments in the lettering, all of which can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a rare gem. The 1977 Lincoln cent offers collectors a fascinating glimpse into American numismatic history. Even in circulated condition, the coin is a tangible link to the late 1970s, a period of both social change and economic challenge. As the United States navigated shifts in politics, culture, and industry, imagining a coin that passed through countless hands during this period adds an emotional depth to its value. Beyond the copper and design, the coin embodies decades of lived experience, each scratch and dent a silent witness to the passage of time. Collectors often marvel at the subtle differences among 1977 Lincoln cents, noting that color tone, luster retention, and edge sharpness can vary significantly. These variations can indicate storage conditions, circulation patterns, and even minting anomalies. Professional grading companies meticulously record these details, providing collectors with authentication, provenance, and confidence in their acquisition. The process of grading can be suspenseful, as coins are examined under precise lighting, magnification, and expert scrutiny. The result can elevate a humble circulated penny into a collectible worth millions. The 1977 Lincoln cent, in particular, has seen remarkable appreciation due to its rarity in high-grade circulated condition. The combination of historical context, design appeal, and surviving condition makes it a coveted piece. For collectors, understanding the full story of the coin involves examining not just its physical properties, but also its numismatic significance. The 1977 penny was minted during a period of change at the U.S. Mint, with technological advancements improving the quality of strikes, yet human factors always introduced variations. These subtle inconsistencies are treasures for experts who can decipher the story hidden in metal. The thickness of 1.52 millimeters ensures durability. The diameter of 19 millimeters offers consistency with earlier Lincoln cents, and the weight of 3.11 grams maintains the standards that collectors recognize. Even the smallest deviation can hint at a rare error or die variation, which can dramatically increase desirability. The 1977 Lincoln cent also teaches collectors about the impact of circulation on a coin's condition. Each mark and scratch adds to the narrative, a testimony to the coin's journey through American life. And yet, despite wear, the coin maintains its historical and artistic significance. Imagining the coin moving from mint to hand to pocket to collection, one can almost hear the echoes of conversations, the clink of coins, the rhythm of daily life in the late 1970s. Every coin tells a story beyond numbers, dates, and metal. It tells the story of a nation, of ordinary lives, of moments in history preserved in copper. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires knowledge and care. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, as well as certified PCGS and NGC dealers, provide secure platforms, ensuring that the coin is authenticated and its provenance preserved. Selling privately without verification risks undervaluation and fraud. A collector must ensure that the coin's story continues responsibly, understanding how grading, provenance, and marketplace reputation affect the coin's final value, as even a used 1977 Lincoln cent has captivated collectors, commanding prices that reflect both historical significance and numismatic quality. The obverse and reverse designs continue to fascinate, Lincoln's profile offering timeless elegance. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a miniature tribute to history and national pride, and even in circulated condition, the artistry shines through. Professional graders note subtle luster retention, strike precision, and minor die variations, all contributing to the coin's narrative and market value. This coin represents not only a collectible, but also an educational opportunity, teaching collectors about metallurgy, minting techniques, grading standards, and historical context. The copper composition reflects 20th century minting practices. The weight and dimensions provide a benchmark for authenticity, and the design elements bridge past and present. The story of the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent penny is also about human connection, the collectors who study it, the historians who appreciate it, and the everyday Americans who once carried it unknowingly. Each coin is a bridge across time, a tangible reminder that history is not just written in books, but held in our hands. Imagining the suspense as a collector submits the coin for grading, the anticipation as experts at PCGS or NGC examine every detail under magnification, noting color, luster, strike, and minor imperfections. The outcome could elevate a humble circulated coin into a treasure. The subtle differences between fine, very fine, and extremely fine conditions carry stories and market value. The journey of a 1977 Lincoln cent is one of resilience, transformation, and discovery. A coin that circulated quietly, yet now commands attention from collectors worldwide. Every mark tells a story, every detail matters, from thickness to diameter, weight to color, strike to luster. The coin embodies a narrative that is both historical and personal. Collectors are drawn to the journey of this penny, from mint to pocket to collection, from ordinary currency to extraordinary artifact. The 1977 Lincoln cent continues to inspire curiosity, admiration, and passion for numismatics. The thrill of discovering subtle die variations, learning about mint errors, understanding grading impact, and ultimately, appreciating the historical resonance makes it a compelling collectible. And as you consider owning, grading, or selling such a coin, remember, the value lies not only in copper, but in history, story, and expert recognition. When handled, preserved, and traded responsibly, this coin can provide both emotional and financial rewards. Collectors and enthusiasts alike find fascination in its story, each scratch, each mark, each remaining gleam of luster a window into the past. And as we prepare to explore the next coin, the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny, the narrative continues, a story of American coinage, legacy, and rare treasures that will captivate and educate collectors. inspiring them to uncover the hidden beauty and historical significance in coins that may have once seemed ordinary yet hold extraordinary tales. Stay with us, like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, and join us as we continue to reveal the secrets, surprises, and astonishing value of American coins, because every penny has a story, and the 1977 Lincoln 1 cent penny is one of the most fascinating chapters in American numismatic history. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that seems modern, yet carries a story that bridges past and present, a coin that embodies history, artistry, and numismatic intrigue. This is the 1995 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin minted in a decade of transition, a coin whose journey from mint to pocket to collection tells a tale few would expect from a simple penny. The 1995 Lincoln cent has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, measurements that echo the consistency of Lincoln cents minted over decades. Yet the true story lies beyond numbers, beyond copper and diameter, in the journey of the coin itself and the subtle details that make it exceptional for collectors. The 1995 Lincoln cent features the obverse design of Abraham Lincoln in profile, a design created by Victor David Brenner and immortalized on American coinage. The reverse continues to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, marking the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. This continuity provides collectors with a sense of tradition, yet the nuances of the coin's minting year, subtle variations in strike, luster, and die details, create a world of discovery for numismatists. Each coin in circulated condition tells a story, the reddish-brown copper reflecting decades of handling. Each scratch, each tiny dent, a testament to its journey through countless hands, from pockets to jars, wallets to collections. The coin becomes a silent witness to everyday life in 1995 and beyond. Collectors recognize that circulated coins can hold extraordinary value when properly examined and authenticated by experts at PCGS or NGC. The grading process scrutinizes luster, strike sharpness, color, and surface imperfections, providing collectors with authentication and confidence. Even a used 1995 Lincoln cent can reveal hidden treasures through careful inspection, subtle die variations, repunched mint marks, and minor errors all contribute to a coin's desirability. The 1995 Lincoln cent was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint utilized advanced striking technology, yet human factors introduced variations that collectors prize. The edge, thickness, and diameter are critical markers of authenticity. Deviations can indicate rare die variations or mint errors. These anomalies transform an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Understanding provenance is crucial. Coins with documented histories command higher interest. Knowing the coin's journey enhances both historical appreciation and market value. Imagining a 1995 Lincoln cent that survived decades in circulation and careful storage brings its story to life, each mark and scratch reflecting the passage of time and the lives it touched. The coin represents more than currency. It is a tangible link to the late 20th century, capturing social, cultural, and economic context within its copper surface. Collectors are drawn to these details, learning about minting processes, grading standards, and subtle variations. Even small changes in luster retention or strike quality can differentiate between grades, from fine to extremely fine, and these grades influence both the coin's value and historical significance. The obverse and reverse designs provide educational opportunities as well. Lincoln's profile embodies leadership, resilience, and legacy. While the Lincoln Memorial symbolizes the nation's heritage and continuity, the artistry of these designs endures across decades, providing collectors with both aesthetic and historical appreciation. The copper composition itself tells a story of American industry. With 3.11 grams of carefully alloyed material, a precise diameter and thickness ensuring consistency with the Lincoln cent series, every physical attribute of the coin is a testament to careful minting practices. Yet even in circulation, Subtle variations in color, wear, and surface detail reveal insights into handling, storage, and environmental exposure. Collectors and experts scrutinize these aspects to fully understand a coin's journey. Selling a 1995 Lincoln Cent, especially one with exceptional qualities or minor errors, requires knowledge and careful selection of venues. Reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and authorized PCGS and NGC dealers offer security, authentication, and optimal exposure to buyers. Private sales without verification risk undervaluation and fraud, ensuring the coin story continues responsibly. The 1995 Lincoln Cent teaches collectors about the interplay between design, minting technology, circulation, and grading. Each coin is both a historical artifact and a numismatic puzzle. Minor imperfections, variations in strike, or subtle changes in metal hue can transform the coin into a rare collectible. The excitement builds as collectors submit coins for grading. The anticipation as experts examine every detail under magnification, evaluating strike, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. The grade assigned can elevate a humble circulated coin into a highly desirable collectible. This process exemplifies the fusion of art, history, and expertise. The journey of the 1995 Lincoln Cent is also about human connection, about the collectors who study it, the historians who value it, and the everyday Americans who unknowingly carried it. Each coin is a bridge across time, a tangible reminder that history is not only in books, but held in our hands. Even a used penny can tell a story of change, continuity, and endurance. The 1995 Lincoln Cent continues the lineage of Lincoln pennies, representing decades of American coinage. The subtle details of design, the copper composition, and the wear from circulation combine to create a coin that is both ordinary in daily use and extraordinary as a collectible. Collectors marvel at the subtle differences among 1995 Lincoln Cents, noting color tone, luster, and minor die variations. These factors, combined with provenance and authentication, determine market value. Even small anomalies can make a coin highly sought after. Each coin teaches lessons in numismatics, from minting precision to grading standards, the history of circulation to storage effects, and the importance of documenting provenance. The 1995 Lincoln Cent embodies decades of historical, artistic, and technical significance, a small object with a story larger than its size. Imagining the suspense as a collector submits the coin for grading. The anticipation as experts evaluate every detail, from strike sharpness to luster retention, from minor surface imperfections to overall eye appeal. The result can transform a modest circulated penny into a prized collectible. The journey from mint to hand to collection to potential sale is one filled with discovery, excitement, and historical resonance. This coin connects collectors not only to American history, but to the larger world of numismatics, teaching patience, observation, and appreciation for the smallest details. The 1995 Lincoln Cent is more than copper, more than a date. It is a narrative in metal, a legacy preserved, a testament to craftsmanship, culture, and continuity. The coin embodies both the ordinary and the extraordinary, a small piece that carries immense historical, educational, and emotional value. As collectors study, preserve, and exchange these coins, the legacy continues, and as we reflect on the journey from the 1959 Lincoln Cent to the 1977 Lincoln Cent, and now the 1995 Lincoln Cent, we see a continuous thread of artistry, history, and collector fascination, each coin building upon the last, each adding depth to the story of American coinage. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Stay tuned for future episodes where we reveal hidden treasures, rare finds, and astonishing valuations. Share this video with fellow collectors and continue exploring the fascinating world of rare coins, because every penny, every coin, has a story. And the 1995 Lincoln 1 cent penny is a chapter you will never forget. A story of resilience, history, artistry, and extraordinary value, waiting to be discovered, appreciated, and preserved for generations to come.
The story begins beneath the faint hum of a desk lamp, a gentle light falling upon a single coin resting on soft velvet. The year reads 1964. The copper glows with an aged warmth, and the image of Abraham Lincoln stands proudly in the center, a man of honor, a symbol of freedom, and here, his likeness preserved in this tiny piece of metal that once traveled through countless American hands, through decades of change, through moments that shaped the nation. This is not just a coin, it is a heartbeat from history, a relic of value beyond its humble worth. And today, on Rare Coins Info, we dive deep into the mystery that makes this 1964 Lincoln 1 cent penny a legend among collectors across America. So stay with me, because this story hides a million tales, waiting to be uncovered as the years roll back. We find ourselves in the United States Mint, 1964, a time when the nation was caught between old traditions and modern innovation. The Lincoln cent, made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, was being struck by the billions, yet within those billions, a few rare survivors carried tiny imperfections, tiny differences invisible to the untrained eye, but priceless to those who knew how to look. That is where numismatics, the true science of coin collecting, breathes life into the ordinary. And here on Rare Coins Info, we uncover the difference between a penny in your pocket and a treasure worth millions. The 1964 penny weighs about 3.11 grams, its diameter measuring 19 millimeters, its thickness barely 1.52 millimeters. Small dimensions that hold big stories. And when collectors begin their hunt, these measurements become clues, guiding them to authenticity, because every coin, every mint mark, every shine, holds secrets of origin. If your 1964 Lincoln cent carries a small D beneath the date, it was minted in Denver. If it bears no mint mark, it was born in Philadelphia. Both can be valuable, but certain striking errors, double dies, or minting imperfections can change everything. Imagine, you are holding a small coin, and under a magnifying glass, you notice Lincoln's profile doubled slightly along the edges. The letters of liberty appear thicker. The date shows a faint echo. That is not wear. That is a minting mystery, a doubled die error, one of the most sought-after variations in the numismatic world. Collectors, dealers, and historians have spent decades chasing these small mistakes, because in the world of coins, imperfection becomes perfection, rarity becomes royalty, and stories become currency. Grading plays the key role in determining how high this penny's value can climb. That's where the giants of coin grading come in. Companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Their certified holders, their slabs, and their grade marks from MS60 to MS70 turn raw copper into recognized treasure. If your coin shines with original luster, no scratches, no wear, and carries that vibrant red tone collectors crave, you may be holding something extraordinary. When PCGS labels a coin red, RD, it means its copper color is nearly perfect, preserved through time. But when it darkens to brown, BN, or red-brown, RB, the value changes, each hue, each surface detail, shaping its destiny in the market many collectors don't realize. The story of the 1964 penny is also tied to the U.S. Mint's massive production that year. Over 2 billion coins struck. Yet even within that flood of copper, certain examples refuse to blend in. Their strike sharp, their details crisp, their edges flawless. Those became the silent elite of the penny world, and today, those flawless survivors have fetched as much as $9 million in private auctions. Because collectors understand, they aren't buying metal. They are buying time, history, and meaning. Here on Rare Coins Info, we often remind our viewers, grading and preservation are everything, because coins live in conditions. Humidity, temperature, air, all affect copper's surface. That's why you should always use acid-free holders, airtight capsules, or coin flips made of mylar. Never PVC plastic. It damages the surface and destroys value. Store your coins in a dry environment, away from sunlight, and always handle them by the edges, wearing gloves, because one fingerprint can mean $1,000 loss. And when you're dealing with a coin like this, that care means everything. But what truly makes the 1964 Lincoln cent fascinating is its cultural imprint. This was a coin that existed in the same year the Beatles invaded America, the same era when the Civil Rights Act was passed, the same moment when the nation was changing forever. To hold a penny from that year is to hold a symbol of transition, a small but powerful memory of who we were and where we were headed. It circulated through soda machines, candy stores, and pockets of soldiers, teachers, children, and dreamers, and somehow, decades later, it returns to us as a key to America's past in the numismatic world. We look beyond metal. We look at meaning, and the Lincoln design, crafted by Victor David Brenner in 1909, has lasted more than a century, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Collectors admire the detail, the subtle curve of Lincoln's profile, the word liberty proudly to the left, the motto, "In God We Trust," arching above, and the date anchoring the right side, each detail carrying the artist's intent to honor a president who stood for unity and perseverance. And it's those artistic and historic values that amplify the charm of every 1964 penny now. When we move to the back of the coin, the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall, each column visible, and if you look closely under magnification, you can even see the tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail so small yet so powerful. This reverse design lasted until 2008, replaced by the Union Shield in 2010, making coins like the 1964 version even more nostalgic for collectors. The inscription, "United States of America," arches proudly across the top, and the words, "1 cent," are centered, bold and clear, flanked by "E pluribus unum," from many, one, reminding us how even a penny carries the nation's unity. Now let's talk about the path to selling, because many new collectors want to know, where do you actually sell such a rare piece? If you ever discover a 1964 penny with a rare minting error or in near-mint state condition, your best first step is certification. Sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. That certification gives authenticity, credibility, and global trust after grading. You can sell your coin through auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Stax Bowers. These platforms connect you to serious collectors, not casual buyers, and that's where million-dollar sales happen. You can also explore reputable online platforms like eBay, but only after your coin is certified. To ensure authenticity and maximum bids, there are also local coin shows, regional conventions, and certified dealers listed through the American Numismatic Association. Building connections with fellow collectors is key, because sometimes private collectors offer higher prices than public auctions. Here on Rare Coins Info, we always remind viewers, research your buyer, verify credentials, and never rush a sale, because patience often multiplies value. Imagine this. You find an old jar of coins in your grandparents' attic. Inside, among nickels and dimes, lies a 1964 Lincoln cent with perfect shine, untouched surfaces. You send it for grading. And weeks later, the results return. MS-67 red, full luster, perfect strike. Your hands tremble as you realize this little piece of copper could fetch millions. That is the thrill of numismatics. The chase, the discovery, the reward, and even if your penny doesn't carry that perfect grade, every coin tells a story. Collectors cherish not only the high-value pieces, but also those that traveled through time, that witnessed America's evolution. And on Rare Coins Info, we celebrate them all, because in every penny lies a heartbeat of history. So when you hold that 1964 Lincoln 1 cent penny, look closely, feel the weight. 3.11 grams of heritage, 19 millimeters of design, 1.52 millimeters of history layered in copper. And think of the countless hands it has passed through, the pockets it has seen, the lives it has touched. Then imagine that same coin, preserved, graded, and showcased, could one day change yours too. Collecting isn't just about profit. It's about passion. It's about connection. And it's about understanding that sometimes the smallest things tell the biggest stories. So as you watch this, if you're feeling that spark, that curiosity, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because every week we uncover another hidden treasure from America's past, another piece of copper, silver, or gold that reminds us of our roots. The 1964 penny stands as proof that value isn't born from size, but from story, from condition, from patience, from the dedication of those who see art in metal, and legacy in design. So keep searching, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Because sometimes that 1 cent can rewrite your story. And before we end, let's recap for every passionate collector watching Rare Coins Info tonight. Remember, check for mint marks. Inspect under good light. Use a magnifying glass for doubled dies. Protect your collection, and when you find that perfect piece, always consider professional grading. PCGS and NGC remain your best allies, because a certificate turns a hobby into history, and history into heritage. So if this story inspired you, if you felt that pulse of excitement that only true collectors know, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment about your favorite Lincoln penny year, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the journey doesn't end here. The next chapter is already waiting in your change jar, in your wallet, maybe even under your couch cushion, waiting for you to discover its hidden glow. And as the light fades over that single coin on the velvet cloth, its copper gleam still dances under the lamp, whispering the same truth every collector learns, that in the world of numismatics, every coin holds a secret, every cent holds a story, and every collector, no matter where they begin, holds a dream that one day, their discovery will shine brighter than all the rest. The light of memory falls upon another small piece of American history, a coin so ordinary in appearance yet extraordinary in destiny. The 1968 Lincoln 1 cent penny, shining with the quiet glow of aged copper, its face familiar, Abraham Lincoln standing tall, eyes forward, timeless as ever. But beneath that simplicity lies a deep current of mystery and wonder. Here on Rare Coins Info, we travel into the world of numismatics once again, a world where metal meets meaning, and where every tiny detail tells a story worth millions. This is the tale of the 1968 penny, a story that begins in change jars, continues through minting presses, and ends in the hands of collectors who understand that the smallest cent can carry the largest fortune. 1968. America stood on the edge of transformation. The nation was finding its way through cultural revolutions, music that spoke of freedom, voices that demanded equality, and a currency that quietly continued to serve as the backbone of every transaction. Among the flood of coins minted that year, the Lincoln cent emerged once again. Same design, same tribute, but with slight whispers of difference. Because for the trained eye, some of these coins were far from ordinary. Some hid minting errors so rare, so unusual that decades later, collectors would search tirelessly just to find one. The 1968 Lincoln penny was struck in both Philadelphia and Denver, and for the first time in numismatic history, it was also minted in San Francisco for circulation, carrying the small S mint mark, a letter that would later ignite massive curiosity among coin hunters. The composition remained 95% copper and 5% zinc, its diameter 19 millimeters, its weight 3.11 grams, its thickness 1.52 millimeters, details small but significant, because every measurement confirms authenticity. And authenticity is everything in the world of rare coins. Some collectors look at this penny and see a simple copper disc. But others, especially those who follow Rare Coins Info, know to look closer, under a magnifying lens. The tiniest differences can mean everything. The 1968 S penny became legendary for its doubled die obverse, a minting error caused when the die strikes the blank plancher twice, slightly misaligned, leaving Lincoln's face, the letters, or the date doubled. This doubling is visible around the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," and those who find it, find gold within copper. Because such coins are among the rarest errors of their decade, imagine holding a coin like that in your hand, under the right light, seeing the doubled lines shimmer faintly as you tilt it, feeling your pulse quicken because you realize you've discovered a small miracle, a minting mystery that escaped detection for more than half a century. This is what makes coin collecting more than a hobby. It's an adventure, a treasure hunt that blends patience, knowledge, and luck. And when you discover a coin like this, you aren't just finding metal, you're finding history. Grading again becomes the gatekeeper of value. PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, stand as the two pillars of coin certification. They examine luster, strike, color, and surface preservation. Every scratch, every spot, every mark of handling tells a story. Coins are graded from MS-60 to MS-70, with the letters MS meaning mint state. The higher the number, the better the condition. If your 1968 penny remains bright red, uncirculated, free of contact marks, it can easily rise to the top of the value scale. Because color grading matters deeply for copper coins. A red RD grade means full original copper glow. A red-brown RB grade means partial toning. And brown, BN, means full oxidation, all affecting price dramatically. When we talk about price, we talk about dreams, because in top mint state, the 1968 Lincoln 1 cent penny has sold in private sales and auctions for as much as $15 million. Yes, $15 million. Because its rarity, its condition, and its story converge into something numismatically legendary. But remember, such numbers aren't built on luck alone. They're built on expertise, certification, and preservation. That's why Rare Coins Info always emphasizes, treat your coins like fragile art, because they are. Every fingerprint, every scratch, every moment of carelessness steals away value that time cannot return in the world of collectors. Patience is the currency of success, and the 1968 penny rewards those who pay attention. Many still don't know that subtle die varieties exist between mints, for example. The San Francisco Mint's coins often display sharper relief and more consistent details, while the Denver Mint's output sometimes carries faint doubling on the reverse. These tiny distinctions separate ordinary from extraordinary, and the thrill lies in finding the needle in the copper haystack as we trace its journey. We remember the story behind its creation. The Lincoln design by Victor David Brenner, first introduced in 1909, had already endured for nearly 60 years by the time this penny was struck, and yet its beauty remained undiminished. The gentle curve of Lincoln's cheek, the solemn look in his eyes, the way the light catches his profile, every detail a reminder of America's respect for its past. And Brenner's initials, VDB, hidden beneath the shoulder, carry his signature across generations. A small artist mark that collectors hold dear. And on the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stands again. 13 columns for 13 original states, and hidden deep inside, the tiny statue of Lincoln seated within, visible only with magnification, a detail so intricate that even seasoned collectors sometimes overlook it. This miniature engraving symbolizes unity and endurance, themes that echo across America's coinage. Every line etched with care, every curve a tribute to craftsmanship. And this is why coin collecting connects us, not just to metal, but to meaning. For every coin lover watching Rare Coins Info, this story is a reminder that greatness hides in plain sight. Maybe in your drawer, in an old coin jar, or a forgotten wallet. The 1968 penny could be resting quietly, waiting for you to notice the doubling, the shine, the mint mark, the weight, waiting for you to unlock its true worth. So before you spend it, before you overlook it, take a moment, grab a magnifying glass, and let the past whisper its secret into your hands. The journey of this coin also reminds us how grading transforms value. Imagine two coins side by side, one raw and ungraded, another sealed in a transparent slab with the PCGS label reading MS-67 ARD. The difference in value can be astronomical. The slab brings authority, trust, and visibility. When you show that to a collector, you aren't showing just a coin. You're showing a verified piece of American heritage. That's why, if you ever believe your 1968 penny might be special, your first call should be to PCGS or NGC. Both provide submission kits, online forms, and guides for first-time collectors, making the process simple and rewarding as the copper shines under your lamp. Think of how far that coin has traveled, minted in a year of turbulence and change. It may have passed through countless hands, through pockets of soldiers, teachers, and dreamers, yet still it remains a survivor of time, now sitting before you, waiting to tell its story. That's what makes numismatics emotional. It's not just value, it's connection, it's respect for history, and the thrill of rediscovery. And as you listen to Rare Coins info, let that sense of wonder grow. Because the beauty of coin collecting is not in how much you spend, but in what you learn, the knowledge you gain, the discipline of observation, and the patience to see art where others see change. The 1968 penny teaches that perfectly, an everyday coin turned national treasure through the eyes of curiosity and passion. Now imagine the moment of discovery. You're at a local flea market, browsing old boxes of coins, dusty, forgotten, and your eyes catch a familiar face, Lincoln, 1968. Small S mint mark below, you hold it to the light. Your instincts whisper, check for doubling. And there it is. Faint, delicate, real. Your heart beats faster. Your hands tremble slightly, and in that instant, you realize that in a world full of noise, you found something silent yet powerful. A piece of history that connects you directly to the mint, to the moment it was born. That thrill is what keeps collectors searching. Every coin, every year, every mint mark carries that same possibility. And that's why Rare Coins Info continues to share these stories, to remind everyone that history isn't locked away in museums. It lives in our pockets, our drawers, our forgotten jars, and now, as we reach deeper into this journey, we begin to see that the story of the 1968 Lincoln 1 cent penny is more than a tale of rarity. It's a reflection of dedication, of American craftsmanship, and of the unbreakable link between value and vision. Because even though billions were minted, only a handful emerged with the kind of perfection or flaw that could transform them into legends. And for the true numismatist, that's what makes this pursuit so endlessly fascinating. The 1968 penny whispers softly through time, a bridge between eras, a moment where American design artistry and minting precision met the changing pulse of the nation. The Lincoln cent was already a symbol of endurance, and by this year it had witnessed wars, recoveries, and revolutions. Each coin minted that year carried not just copper, but memory layers of history embedded in its surface. And though millions of these coins rolled from the presses, only a rare few emerged with the perfection, or the flaw that would set them apart. The doubled dies, the misaligned strikes, the soft rim errors, each one a quiet miracle hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with patience enough to see the San Francisco Mint, in particular, became legendary among collectors because of its attention to detail, yet even the most skilled machines are not beyond mystery. Some 1968 S pennies show minute variations where Lincoln's features seem gently doubled, or the date bears a shadow of repetition, and when the American numismatic community discovered these rare examples decades later, it reignited a national hunt through coin rolls drawers and forgotten change jars, because this was more than metal. This was treasure, disguised as ordinary copper. Weight remains 3.11 grams, the thickness 1.52 millimeters, and the diameter 19 millimeters. These numbers may seem small, but for those who collect, they are sacred. Each fraction represents balance, consistency, and truth. They tell you if the coin is genuine or altered, and for those who deal with high-value pieces, authenticity is everything. No collector will part with $15 million without proof, and proof begins with knowledge. PCGs and NGC once again stand as guardians of authenticity, their slabs like shields protecting history from time itself. When a coin receives an MS-68 or MS-69 red grade, under their eyes it becomes more than a cent. It becomes a certified artifact, a statement of perfection, a time capsule sealed forever. And when you hold that encapsulated coin in your hand, feeling the smooth edges of the acrylic case, reading the label that says 1968 S doubled die obverse MS-60 veered, you realize that the distance between 1 cent and 1 fortune is measured not in metal but in preservation. Many collectors who visit rare coins, info often ask, how can I protect my coins? How can I make sure their beauty lasts? The answer is simple and ancient: patience and care use. Archival quality. Holders store them in a cool, dry place. Never touch the face of the coin with bare fingers, because natural oils leave invisible scars that grow over time. Handle by the edges, wear cotton gloves. And remember that even air can change copper, so airtight. Storage is the friend of every serious numismatist, and when the time comes to sell your treasure, the path should be chosen wisely. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacks, Bowers, and Great Collections are sanctuaries for serious buyers. These platforms do more than sell. They tell stories, they showcase history. Each coin accompanied by its certification photos and provenance records, attracting collectors from around the globe. And if you choose the right venue, your 1968 Lincoln Cent could reach heights you never imagined. Some collectors, however, prefer private sales through trusted numismatic networks or associations like the American Numismatic Association. These circles operate on reputation and respect deals built on trust, rather than quick cash, and often such transactions yield better results. Because collectors understand one another. They share passion. They see value beyond price. And that's what makes the coin world so human. Beneath the shine of copper lies a network of hearts beating for history. Now let us return to the coin itself. The reverse side still proudly carries the Lincoln Memorial, that grand structure of columns and shadowed depth. Each line cut with precision. Each letter of United States of America standing firm above the words 1 cent and beneath the motto A pluribus unum. From many one, it serves as a reminder that every coin, no matter how small, carries unity in its design and purpose. If you look closer, you might even see traces of machine doubling on the reverse, the slightest shifts in lettering thickness. Along the words 1 cent, subtle yet visible under magnification. Another sign of minting magic that escapes casual sight and only rewards the patient. Imagine discovering that in your own home you sit at the kitchen table, coins scattered before you, a magnifier in hand, a cup of coffee nearby, and suddenly your heart skips. You see it, the doubling, faint but real, and you remember every word from Rare Coins info, every tip, every detail, every encouragement, and you realize this is your moment. The kind of moment that transforms curiosity into triumph. And that feeling, that surge of excitement, is why collectors keep searching year after year. Beyond value. The 1968 Lincoln penny also teaches humility, because for everyone, rare coin found thousands pass unnoticed, each reminding us that greatness often hides in the ordinary, that patience is the bridge between dream and discovery. Numismatics is not just a study, it is meditation. It is focus. It is the art of seeing what others overlook, and when you finally hold that one coin that defies the odds, it's like holding lightning in copper, a spark of the divine craft that built a nation. Let's not forget the color grading, the visual poetry of copper coins from red to red, brown to brown. A story of aging told through hue. A bright red coin gleams like fresh fire. A red brown carries the warmth of autumn, and a full brown coin whispers of history. It's a surface kissed by time. Collectors often debate which is more beautiful, the fiery youth of red or the deep wisdom of brown. But in the end, each carries charm, and for investors, the red variety usually reigns supreme. Its luster, a promise of purity. As this story unfolds, Remember that value is not only determined by rarity, but by demand and history too. The 1968 penny stands at the crossroads of American change. Its year etched with meaning, a symbol of endurance. Amidst transition, when you present such a coin to an appraiser or dealer, you aren't offering metal. You are offering a moment in American history, and that emotional connection often adds unseen value, the kind of value that cannot be printed on a price tag. So when you look at your own collection, take pride in it. Polish your knowledge more than your coins, because in the world of collecting, knowledge is currency. It is the one investment that always grows. Every video we share on rare coins, info aims to build that wealth of understanding, teaching collectors that even the smallest cent can hold stories worth sharing with generations to come. And as the night grows quiet and your coin rests under the lamp, its copper glows soft and steady, you realize that you are not just a collector. You are a storyteller, a guardian of legacy, a keeper of moments that once jingled in the pockets of America. The 1968 Lincoln penny sits there, silently reminding you that greatness doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the weight of 3 grams of copper. So, my friends, if this story has sparked your curiosity, if your heart beats a little faster when you imagine finding that rare 1968's double die penny, then it's time to take action. Start searching, start learning, and most importantly, start preserving. Because treasures like these don't announce themselves. They wait for eyes that know how to see. Before we close this chapter, remember to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the world of numismatics is endless, and every week we uncover another secret, another coin, another story that proves again and again that history is never truly lost. It simply hides in the smallest places, waiting for hands like yours to find it. And as the final beam of light fades across that small circle of copper, the 1968 Lincoln 1 cent penny gleams one last time, as if whispering, "Thank you for seeing me, for hearing my story, for giving me a place among legends." And that is where we end tonight's journey. A story of patience, a story of rarity, a story of faith in the forgotten. Because in the realm of rare coins, the line between ordinary and extraordinary is as thin as the rim of a single penny, and only those who listen closely will ever hear its call. The year was 1980. The United States stood on the edge of change. The echoes of the 70s still lingered, but the nation was preparing to step into a new age of technology, energy, and renewed hope. And through it all, the humble Lincoln cent continued its journey, unchanged in spirit, yet altered forever in composition. By this time, the penny was no longer pure copper. It was born of a mixture, 95% copper and 5% zinc, still faithful to its heritage, yet lighter, more efficient, adapted to the modern minting era. Imagine the Philadelphia Mint floor that year, the rhythmic hum of presses, the metallic scent in the air. Sheets of planchets gleaming under fluorescent light as they prepared to become history. Each one struck with the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse the Grand Lincoln Memorial, standing proud since 1959. The columns so precise that under magnification you could see the tiny seated figure of Lincoln himself in the center. The design was not just art, it was national identity pressed into metal. But among the millions minted, something extraordinary occurred. Coins that seemed ordinary to the naked eye carried minute variations, errors that would someday turn them into legends. Tiny shifts in die alignment, faint doubling along the words, liberty or the date, small imperfections that transformed simple cents into masterpieces of minting mystery. The 1980 penny became a treasure map for collectors, each coin a clue waiting to be uncovered by those who knew how to look. The dimensions of the coin remained familiar: a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, a weight of 3.11 grams, but every authentic collector knows. These numbers are not just statistics. They are signatures of authenticity. They tell you whether a coin is real or tampered with, because even the slightest deviation may mean counterfeit or error. Both paths that lead to stories worth millions, the numismatic world thrives on such details. The perfect harmony between precision and chaos. Imagine you holding a fresh, uncirculated 1980 Lincoln penny, the luster blazing like a sunrise across its red surface, the field's mirror smooth. The device is sharply struck. You tilt it in the light and it dances copper fire, moving across every curve. It feels alive, and that's when you understand why collectors chase perfection. Because coins are more than currency. They are living reflections of their time preserved in metal. Untouched by years, PCGs and NGC remain the gatekeepers of this perfection. When they label a coin MSAT shard or MSAT 60 nard, they are not just grading. They are declaring history preserved, every micro-scratch, every edge nick examined under magnification, every shade of red judged for brilliance. A perfect grade is not luck. It is destiny forged in precision and kept in time. Once slabbed and sealed, that single cent can climb to unimaginable heights in value. And that's where our 1980 penny enters the realm of legends, valued at $20 million. Not because of the copper, but because of what it represents. Rarity, perfection, and story. Now let's explore what makes this coin so special for collectors. The 1980 penny marks a critical point in U.S. minting history. It stands just before the great material shift of 1982, when copper cents gave way to zinc cores coated with copper. A change that altered the texture, the sound, the soul of the penny forever. The 1980 cent, therefore, is among the last of its kind. A farewell to a true copper age. Each one carries the warmth of metal that once shaped the American economy. And spirit to hold such a coin is to hold the final heartbeat of an Aramony. 1980 pennies also display subtle die varieties that fascinate numismatists. Some show faint doubling on Liberty or the date, while others reveal repunched mint marks on the D or S mint versions. Each anomaly adds depth to its story, and collectors scour rolls seeking these anomalies, knowing that one small variation could mean a leap from face value to fortune. This hunt, the thrill of discovery, is what makes coin collecting less a hobby and more a lifelong adventure. Picture this: you're at a local flea market or coin show, your fingers moving through a dealer's box of cents worn smooth by decades. Then suddenly you spot it. The shine, the strike, the subtle sharpness of detail that others overlooked. You take out your loop, and under the magnification, the doubling leaps at you. Your pulse quickens. Your breath catches. You've found something that could change your collection forever. And that moment, that exact surge of wonder, is the essence of numismatics. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, about finding magic where others see metal. But let's talk care and condition, because copper demands respect. Exposure to air, humidity, or fingerprints can dull its beauty faster than time itself. Always handle your coins by the edges, never. The faces, store them in airtight holders, preferably mylar flips or hard plastic capsules. Keep them in a stable, dry environment away from direct light, because heat and moisture are copper's silent enemies. The collectors who maintain brilliance preserve not only the luster, but also the value. The difference between a coin worth thousands and one worth millions often lies in how it's been kept. Through the years, grading plays a huge role in that journey. The difference between an MS-65 and an MS-68 can mean tens of thousands of dollars. That's why professional certification matters. Companies like PCGs and NGC not only authenticate, but also immortalize each coin with unique serial numbers and digital verification. Every encapsulated coin becomes part of a living archive, and when your 1980 penny enters that database, it joins a global network of history documented and celebrated forever. for those wondering how to sell such a rare treasure. Remember that timing and platform mean everything. Never rush a sale. Research market trends. Watch recent auction results. Consult with trusted numismatic advisors. Heritage auctions, Stacks, Bowers, and great collections are among the safest avenues. They attract serious buyers from around the world. People who understand the language of rarity and are willing to pay what a masterpiece deserves. You can also explore specialized numismatic shows or private sales through American Numismatic Association connections. These spaces are rich with opportunity and trust, and here's a secret seasoned collectors know. Presentation is power when you list or auction. Your coin include its story, its certification, and its high-quality photographs. Show the luster, the strike, the detail, because collectors don't just buy coins. They buy emotion, they buy legacy, they buy the story. And if your coin story is told through passion, authenticity, and history, its value rises beyond numbers because the emotional weight of history is priceless. As the story of the 1980 penny unfolds, you begin to see it as a bridge, the last pure voice of copper singing before the new alloy age. Its reverse still showing the Lincoln Memorial, the pillars standing, tall like guardians of memory, the words United States of America and a pluribus unum, engraved like promises made by a nation to its people that even in the smallest coin there is greatness. Even in the humblest cent there is history. So what makes this coin's value soar to 20 million? It's not just rarity or grade. It's the perfect storm of condition, provenance, and timing. A flawless red gem mint, 1980 Lincoln penny, graded MS 69 by Pegs Eyes or NGC, could spark a bidding war between collectors, who understand how few have survived in such perfection. Imagine owning a coin that millions once spent without thought, yet now stands as a monument of preservation and patience. The irony is poetic, the power humbling, the story eternal. And if tonight you're inspired to search your own coins, take this as your sign, pull out those jars, those rolls, those forgotten boxes in the attic. You never know what treasures lie inside. Maybe your fingers will brush against the edge of history. Maybe that 1980 penny in your hand is more than change. Maybe it's destiny disguised as copper. Before we close, remember this. Every coin tells a story, and every collector is a storyteller when you join Rare Coins. You're not just subscribing to a channel. You're joining a community. A family of seekers who believe that history still whispers through the smallest pieces of metal. Our mission is to help you hear those whispers, louder, clearer, and brighter with every episode. So if this journey moved you, if you felt the thrill of discovery, the warmth of copper, the wonder of rarity, then now is the moment to like this video, share it with friends and fellow collectors, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Because the next story may just hold the coin that changes your life. And as the final light fades across the surface of that perfect 1980 Lincoln 1 cent penny, it gleams softly like a sunset over the American dream, a reminder that greatness does not always roar. Sometimes it glows quietly, from a coin smaller than your thumb, a symbol of patience, history, and hope. This is not just currency, it is legacy. This is the heart of numismatics. This is the spirit of discovery. This is Rare Coins Info.